Hello there, families. Sharon Ackah here. My hope is that if you are watching this video, you have already seen our videos on Section 504 and perhaps even additional videos in our special education video library. As a quick reminder, I am Lead Education Counsel for the DAF, and my goal in recording these videos for you is to build your education advocacy toolkit. So let's go. In the first video, we defined Section 504 and talked about several general considerations you might be aware of when seeking accommodations for your child within the public educational setting. Let's start this video with the term FAPE. In the educational context, it means free and appropriate public education. Under Section 504, FAPE is defined as regular or special education and related aids and services that are designed to meet the individual educational needs of handicapped persons as adequately as non-handicapped persons. Now, this is a little bit tricky. I have read this countless times, and still I find it challenging to really zero in on the differences between FAPE under Section 504 and FAPE under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So, to simplify this, think of Section 504 as providing access to the same public education that is available to a non-disabled child. And think of IDEA as conferring the actual educational benefit. In addition to access, your child is entitled to an education that is designed to meet the child's educational need. There is a child find requirement under Section 504, which is similar to IDEA. Each lead education agency must identify and locate every qualified disabled person residing in their jurisdiction who is not receiving public education. This child find requirement includes children who may be homeless, attending private schools, or even hospitalized. The education agency should also take steps to notify parents that they have this obligation. Next, we will quickly talk about evaluations under Section 504, and then I will mention some general considerations I want you to keep in mind when you're seeking accommodations for your child. By law, education agencies must conduct an evaluation for any person who needs special education or related services. Assessments are based on areas of educational needs, and there should be periodic reevaluations to ensure that your child's needs are being met. One difference to keep in mind about IDEA and Section 504. Unlike under IDEA, children with 504 plans are not entitled to an independent educational evaluation if parents disagree with the school's findings. I think we've discussed IEEs before in one of our IDEA videos, but if you have not seen that or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to visit your legal assistance office for further guidance. So now to the general points to remember. There are fewer legal rights under 504 plans than with IEPs, and schools have fewer legal obligations under Section 504 than they do under IDEA. Further, it is more difficult to qualify for an IEP because IDEA requires a child to qualify for services based on one of 13 specific eligibility categories, which then must also affect the child's ability to learn in school. Oftentimes, a 504 plan will be offered to a student who is found ineligible for an IEP. Section 504 is broader and includes any disability. There is typically no formal progress monitoring for 504 plans as well. Children with disabilities require an IEP if they need specialized instruction, and a 504 plan if they only need accommodations. For those of us who are more visual learners, I will end this video with a quick comparison chart. For individualized education programs or IEP, remember that these provide instruction with services and accommodations in a least restrictive environment. That's a placement requirement. On the other hand, for 504s, we're talking about accommodations to ensure equal access. In terms of goals, IEPs must have measurable goals for the child to work on and it holds the school responsible for ensuring there's progress within those goals. 504 plans make changes to students' environment, but they do not include measurable goals. Eligibility. We talked a bit about this in this video just a bit earlier. For an IEP, a child has to have a qualifying disability and it must affect their educational performance. Eligibility for a 504 plan, a student must have a physical or mental impairment that affects a major life activity. They have to have a diagnosis of this impairment or, as we mentioned, a record of this impairment. IEPs are required to be reviewed annually. 504s only require a periodic reevaluation. So think about these things. I've presented them to you in a chart format here, and we've discussed these differences as we've gone through. We often have clients who come into our offices and say, what's the difference between an IEP or a 504? Or I have a child that has a 504 plan, but I believe my child should have an IEP. When you have these questions, remember to visit your local JAG office, and we will be happy to assist you. I hope you continue to visit our video series and take advantage of these opportunities to build your advocacy toolkit. Thank you.